So I think in getting involved, it has to be something that you feel inside of you that you want to make a difference. I volunteered throughout my 20s and up until now, and I actually got involved through youth group several years ago, where I decided that I wanted to make a change. I wanted the students to learn a little bit about what's going on in Detroit. We live in a very affluent community, even though a lot of people have suffered economically. There are a lot of people who have done very well, and I want the students to be able to see what's happening 16, 17 miles away in the city of Detroit, a city that has been decimated by this economy, that only has 775,000 people. The city was built for almost 3 million people. The city of Detroit is actually an older municipality legally than the city of Chicago. Chicago has 8 million people. We have 1/10 of that population. So there's just, people have left the city and they've left it in ruins. And I just want to make a difference and educate teens along the way to let them know that they can make a difference too. We've actually worked with several groups in the Detroit area. We've worked with PBJ Outreach, which is a ministry that is local here in Plymouth, and they go out every Saturday on the corner of 3rd and Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard and set up a soup kitchen line right out in the middle of the field. They also have a clothing ministry that we're involved in. And again, I want the teens to see some of the suffering that's out there. You can read about poverty, you can read about some of these awful things that are happening, but when you're serving meals to a 4-year-old in the middle of winter who's wearing a spring jacket and crying because she's so cold, these are lessons that you never forget. These are images that stay in your mind. So PBJ Outreach is actually a very important organization we work with. We also work with Gleaners. Gleaners Community Food Bank is one of the largest food banks in the United States. It was started in the mid-70s. Every year they pack over 40 million pounds of food that are distributed to over 552 shelters, domestic abuse centers, any kind of soup kitchens, any place where they need food. So we donate our time to the warehouse to make sure that that people get the food that's necessary. We also help with the Kids Helping Kids program, where we pack school lunches for the kids in downtown Detroit. A lot of the kids show up to class and they're hungry. They haven't eaten breakfast, they haven't eaten dinner the night before for whatever reason. So we pack meals for them so when they get to Detroit Public Schools they can have something to eat. I mean, just most recently we're involved with Capuchin Soup Kitchen. Well, because the community only has 775,000 people that live in Detroit, there's over 50,000 homes that are evacuated. There are vacant land plots that are everywhere. So what Capuchin has done is built greenhouses right on the property, and they're growing food. Did you know there are no grocery stores today in the city of Detroit? There are no grocery stores that sell vegetables, that sell fruits, that people get their food from convenience stores. They get their food from McDonald's and Burger King and Wendy's. So they're passing on no nutritional education to their kids or to their families. I heard Whole Foods is moving in next year. I also heard some rumors about Meijer. But right now, they're not eating fruits and vegetables. So obesity rates are really high. Diabetes is really high. All of the nutritional things that are happening and hurting their body, you know, Capuchin is involved with that. So we were involved in planting seedlings, you know, planting tomatoes, cucumbers, whatever they need, you know, to have fresh fruits and vegetables. So that's great. So there's a number of organizations that are very teen friendly that we work with, and we try to do something different every month, but it just depends on availability and what we can do. But we worked at St. Christine's Christian Services, where they have a soup kitchen in Detroit. They love us over there. We usually bring a bunch of students to work the soup kitchen line, and that's really tough too, because there's a lot of families, again, that are suffering. Either they've done it to themselves, or maybe they've just been a victim of circumstance. And having them plant food, work in a warehouse, work in a soup kitchen, all these different angles of seeing what the problem is in Detroit helps them learn and helps teens understand what's going on.
Yeah. Do you think the upkeeping of Detroit and like keeping up with the environment and like outside, like the Blightbusters group does or whatever, do you think that would have an effect on like the people and the community.
Yeah, absolutely. Blightbusters has taken down, I think, a couple of thousand homes in just a short period of time. So what they do is they find homes that are blighted, that are abandoned and destroyed, and the homes are actually used for nefarious activities. They're used for drug dealing, they're used for services, things like that, illegal services. And what they do is they go inside the home, and they might find a beautiful home that was built in the 50s that has great hardwood floors. Well, they'll take the hardwood floors up and use it to fix up someone's home that's existing. They'll take the copper piping out, they'll take the plumbing fixtures. They take all of the things that normally would end up in a landfill that would be bulldozed over, and they actually gut the house of all of the important things that can be reused and recycled and what have you, and then all the waste is actually thrown away. So they actually use the siding, the aluminum siding they can use for other homes as well. And again, just trying to recycle, reuse, rejuvenate. And they take all these materials and they show up to homes that people are living in, real families that maybe they can't afford a fresh coat of paint, maybe they can't afford aluminum siding or hardwood floors. And they go in and actually make these homes more beautiful, and they raise the value of the homes. Well, when you raise the value of the home, the value of the other homes in the neighborhood rise as well. So it adds a lot of value, economic value to the community, and also reuses and replenishes and keeps the environment keeps the environment wholesome as well in terms of usable goods. It's great. The great thing about high school students is that high school students like to do things that are meaningful. It's so easy for mom and dad to write a check, drop it in an envelope, and mail it to some P.O. box in Omaha. Mm-hmm. It's so easy to find a wooden crate in a church vestibule and put new shoes in there and t-shirts and jeans and socks and things that people need. But I think teens really want things that are more meaningful. They're a generation where they want to learn and they want to understand what's going on. One of the great things about Blightbusters, as I mentioned, the recyclable materials that they use, they actually buy abandoned buildings. So they bought this huge abandoned building from the city of Detroit for $1. And it was completely dilapidated, it was blighted out, windows broken. And using recyclable materials, they actually built this building into a community center. So it's used in the summertime for jazz festivals. They have summer classes for the kids to take to learn art, to learn drawing, to learn sculpture. And they have local Detroit artists that have painted the building with these beautiful murals. They sectioned off part of the building and actually used recycled materials from these abandoned homes to build a business. And they have a coffee house that's there. They gave a low-interest loan to a Detroit family that wanted to start a coffee house, and we actually ate there for our trip when we went down there. Mm-hmm. So we supported the local business. We had, a bunch of kids that walked in and ordered sandwiches and Cokes and Pops and waters and supported them. But here's a family that never would have started a business, never would have employed people from Detroit, never would have even thought about doing this without the eco-friendly vision of Blightbusters. And that's what makes this organization so great. Don't plant seeds where a pretty flower grows and at the end of the season in fall it dies. Get involved in the community as a service project and say, I'm going to plant some seeds of hope today. I'm going to plant some seeds of love. I'm going to give selflessly to my community. These are the seeds that I'm going to plant, and it will bear fruit. Because these people are taking this stuff in and they don't know you, you're not connected to them, and yet you're giving back, And these are the types of fruits that I want teens at Mercy to start planting. We spend all this time fixing a garden, or planting daffodils, or making things beautiful in our yards. Make Detroit beautiful. Make your spirit beautiful. Make your community beautiful. That's what you should be doing.
It needs a lot of improvement.
Scary, like you wouldn't walk around by yourself. Right down by the river, half of it is really nice, and then as you get away from it, it's all nice.
Abandoned. Yeah, abandoned. I always see like abandoned buildings, so.
Of graffiti sometimes, and I think of, it's like not a bad thing, but I think it's like stereotypically thought of as dirty and like a lot of trash, but there are a lot of great parts of Detroit, and I think that we just need to all work together to bring it back to how it used to be, because I know like a long time ago it used to be a really great city, and I think now it's just a lot of parts of it are dirty and not as well kept as they should be.
I think of conflicted There's some parts that are pretty, like, really good and they're really taken care of, but there are a lot of parts that are neglected.
I think that the environment is kind of dirty and it's bad and it's a little bit neglected and it needs more help.
I've helped, but not going down there. My daughters have helped down there on several projects.
No.
I did the PB&J thing. Is that environment?
Okay.
Oh, not the environment, but like.
No, that's still like.
Oh, okay.
No. But I was gonna go to, what's it called, Summer and
Somewhere in the city?
Summer in the City. I was going to go to that, but I had dance.
Yeah, I did Summer in the City when I was in 8th grade, and I really enjoyed it. It just gave me a chance to see how pretty Detroit could be in some of those neglected areas.
Yeah, on Earth Day, a bunch of my friends and I go down and plant some trees.
Yeah, for sure.
Other people from school or something? A calendar around the school or something, would you be willing to look at it and get more involved?
Of course. Anything to help out Detroit. I'm there.
I feel like when you're doing something with like a group of friends, it makes everything better. It's easier to do. It's just like, it's fun in itself because I've done it for, you know, fun. It's just when you're with friends, it's easier to get a lot more accomplished.
I think that if it was more known, you know, more people would go, and I think we should make it more known.
I think we as high school students should really start by going to Detroit first and learning about the environment there instead of going, you know, based off stereotypes that you hear about Detroit, and then seeing what the, you know, what greenery is there and what can be done to further development.
One of the organizations that I've been affiliated with is the Rouge Rescue. When they go and clean stuff out of the river, they also have days when they go and remove invasive species of plants. They have, one thing I participated in is a frog identification where you can, they do presentations, they give you a CD with all the frog calls on it, and you get a location that's near your home that's on one of the branches of the Rouge River, which extends way up into Oakland County and down into Detroit. And then you listen to find out what frogs you hear, and it tells you the health of the river based on what's there. So there are lots of opportunities for service and fun activities. Well, obviously, if you're aware that something is already planned, it makes it easier to figure your schedule out. And it also is more fun if you can do things as a group. When I originally was the coordinator of Green Club, one year we took kids, we didn't go into Detroit, actually we stayed in Farmington Hills, but we participated with one of the Rouge Rescue organization cleanups, and actually we were at the Shiawassee Park near Farmington and Shiawassee, and we did weeding, which sounds really boring, but we had a great time, a lot of fun, and removed invasive species that were there. There were about 5 of us, I think, that did that. So sometimes if you have things scheduled or know something that's going on and you've got a group of kids that can say, oh, I'm willing, yeah, let's go do this, you know, it's fun. You meet lots of new people. It's like participating in a habitat build, those sorts of things too take place, and Habitat's another great organization actually that promotes care of the environment and by their building practices. And they do have builds in Detroit too. It's another type of thing.